Hey guys, what's going on? It's Tom here from RuneCraftPC and I'm bringing you a solo Zammy guide, or Zamorak guide. So you'll be killing Krill to Sutaroth, however you say his name, obviously. So I've got some requirements and recommended and minimum levels to kill him. So really, minimum levels is, if you're doing solo, is 80 magic, 80 defense, 80 constitution, 67 summoning, and there's not really a prayer requirement. I say 80 because, especially 80 constitution, because Zammy can hit up to like 7Ks with his special, so having anything below 80 is very risky going solo Zammy, because you know he might mess you up. Magic 80 is just because of damage, really. I mean, your damage isn't going to be that high unless it's above 80 or 80 or above. Same with defense, really. It's just, you know, the amount of attacks you deflect is perfect at 80. I got by at 80 fine, really. I mean, the minimum requirements are, if you want to, say you want to just do a couple of kills to try it out, or you wanted to do half a trip for your Reaper task, for your Reaper task, then that's what you want to go for. If you're trying to do it like a normal boss, like you would, so a full hour trip for the instance, then I would go with the second lot of levels. So 90 magic, I have 94, which is even better obviously, but this is just recommended. You'll be able to get by a full trip on this normally. So 90 magic, 90 defense, 90 constitution. I say 88 or 96 summoning because when I said 67, that's for War Tortoise, so that's a familiar that carries food, so that is useful. I think it carries 18 food, I believe it's 18, so that's really useful. But 88 will get you a unicorn which heals you, so if you're one of those people and you'd rather have a familiar that heals you, I'd go for 88 summoning, or go for 96 if you do prefer the food from a familiar, and get 96 for the pack yak, which is actually really useful. So ideally 96, but if you want to use a unicorn then 88 is fine. And I said no prayer requirement because in this guide you're not going to be praying at Zammy unless you have a high prayer level. So if you have 92 prayer, you'll be using Soul Split, and if you have 95, let me remind myself, if you have 95, you'll be using Torment. So Soul Split effectively works like Vampirism, but it's a prayer, so it heals you 10% of whatever damage you deal, and lowers the enemy's prayer points by 1 point for every 85 damage, which is kind of like an extra thing it does. And 95 is for Torment, which it will add 10% accuracy for your magic attacks, 10% damage for magic attacks, and 10% defense. So that's just for you, the player, and then you minus 9% from the enemy's accuracy and damage and defense, increasing to minus 15% over time, depending on how long you're praying for. So really, that's ideal, but the problem is with using prayers, obviously that's a curse, so you'd need to get curses for that. The problem with that is that Zamorak, or Krill to Sutaroth, uses his special a lot more if you're praying, so that's why in this guide I'm not going to be praying. I haven't got 92 or 95 prayer. Obviously I'd have 95 if I don't have 92. No, I mean obviously I don't have 92 if I don't have that. No, okay, I was right the first time. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to get into it now, but you want to get those requirements really. I mean, I haven't gone far below what you need. You may just be able to get by with a Spirit Terror Bird, which is 52 summoning, but I'd stick with the rest of the requirements, to be honest, because they're going to be what you need. Okay, so for the action bar, I've set it up. Obviously I've got all these set up on my layout already, as you can see, so I can click them separately, but you want chain, so that's just useful for hitting 3 enemies at a time, so that's the minions as well as the boss. Same kind of concept with Dragon Breath. Dragon Breath is pretty straightforward. Concentrated Blast, you're shooting 3 spells towards the boss. Sacrifice, that's useful because you deal 100% weapon damage and then you heal 25% of the damage you deal. Impact, pretty straightforward. Combust, again, kind of a bleed, which is always useful. Asphyxiate, which is, you know, a really good threshold to use. Wild Magic as well, a bit unpredictable, but can be up to 215% of the normal damage you deal. And finally, Metamorphosis, which will raise your basic abilities and the other abilities by 50% when you use them for, I think, 15 seconds, so it's really useful. And I've just put on Ice Asylum after that, just because if you have 91 Constitution then you should use that, but it's just for healing between boss kills really. And I just put Debilitate on there as a useful defense ability. Okay, so we've also got my inventory. So I'm wearing Tectonic. Tectonic isn't always, you know, easy for people. It's quite expensive. If you're a lower level and you're going on the minimums, I'd recommend Subjugation or Virtus. But if you're high up like me and you've got above 90, then I'd use Tectonic. So I'm wearing a God Cape just because it's, you know, the best magic cape available until skill capes. Virtus Book and Wands, just because they are really good. Again, I would recommend Armadillo Battle Staff if you can't afford Virtus. Yeah, so I would use the Virtus. Yeah, the Virtus if you're above 90. Virtus Gloves, probably because you have the money for them, by the way, but Virtus Gloves as well, they're relatively expensive. Ring of Well for better drops, and I'm wearing Boots of Subjugation at the moment. I would wear Virtus boots, but I had to sell them to buy something else, so I'll be buying them back eventually. But I'd say Virtus boots, but again, if you're wearing Subjugation, wear Boots of Subjugation. So as well as that, I've also got Sign of Life, just because that's very useful at Zammy because of his ultimate hits, because of his special attack, and Vampirism, which yeah, is really good aura. And I'm also using Solomon's Hiss. So yeah, let's get into the method. Okay guys, something I almost forgot to mention is my inventory. So yeah, I'm using Earth Surge as a spell. Should be using Fire Surge really, because I got the level for it now. It's kind of stupid. But so I've got Earth Runes and Air Runes with me, as you can see. I've got Grand Magic and Grand Defense Potions, so they're 6 doses. So you could use Super Magics or Overloads if you have Overloads, which you likely don't if you're watching this guide. Super Anti-Poison, it's for noobs normally if you're a low level, so if you're on the min requirements, I'd take those. I just take them because being poisoned annoys me. Varrock Tabs and Rocktails. Rocktails are expensive, use Sharks if you're not bringing in that much money. War Tortoise full of Rocktails as well. Okay, so as you can see guys, I'm in the room, I'm in the southwest corner. So I'm using Ice Asylum just between kills. It just helps to regen health. You want full HP when you start the kill really. So I start the kill from the southwest corner. I'm not praying, as you'll see, I've got 0 prayer points. So if you are 92, then you want to use Soul Split, and if you're 95, you can use Soul Split and what's it called? Oh, I can't remember, this really doesn't help for a video, but the curse that's 95 that boosts your magic damage and removes it from the other, from the enemy. So yeah, you want to use that. But if not, just don't pray, just use basics, and then you can see I used the thresholds every time it became available, so twice before I reach 100% and then use an ultimate. And then once I use the ultimate, you can see again I get my adrenaline up and I use thresholds because, you know, obviously meta increases your damage by 50% on every ability you use for 20 seconds. So yeah, didn't really get anything that killed, just Inferno Ashes, but that's pretty much my method of killing Krill to Sutteroth in a pretty much easy way. So I'm just going to go to a reward screen now and show you how much you'll make per hour to be, you know, a good idea of what you'll get. Okay guys, so this is the rewards page just to finish off the video. So Krill, however you say his name, has an average of around 4 to 5 mil per hour. This is drops. This was about 7 mil per hour, but items have crashed at Gobble's Dungeon recently quite a lot. I'm not really sure why. I think Ben knows. If you want to know, ask him, I guess. Because I need to find out too. I'm not really sure what happens, but it does. So yeah, average of 4 to 5 mil per hour, because chances are you'll get a drop in a trip if you do an hour's trip. You know, like if you did a half an hour trip, you wouldn't expect to get a drop, just because the drop rate is like 1 in 60, and you're not going to get over 60 kills in half an hour, I don't think. But yeah, anyway, so approximate drop rate 1 in 60. It can be better than that, obviously. So you know, when you're in, like Ben went to Bandos, which is a similar drop rate. Ben went to Bandos with Turlo, and they were getting a drop rate of like 1 in 20, which is insane. And you know, literally just before recording this video, Ben sent me a guise of some guy that's just got a Drygore Mace drop. Obviously this isn't Gobble's Dungeon, I'm just saying, you know, like, things can change, drop rates are always different, like, and then, you know, like a couple of kills later he gets a Drygore Longsword. So the drop rate itself, you know, it's like rolling a dice. You could get lucky, you could not. I mean, you could go like me, I'm like 200 kills dry at Zamorak at the moment. So yeah, it kind of sucks for me, but hopefully it'll work out better for you, because you will be able to solo Zamorak if you follow this guide, hopefully. So I really hope this video was enjoyable / useful for you. If it did help you, please do leave a like and a comment, and it would be great if you subscribe for future videos. Thanks guys.